Welcome to the Lovecraft tapes. I am Jeremy, your keeper of arcane lore, and we play Call of Cthulhu, a horror role-playing game based upon the fictional works of H.P. Lovecraft. Your investigators of the unknown are Brian as Jack Whiteside.
Is Roy okay? Someone check on Roy.
Gabe as Roy Arroyo.
I am okay, but thanks for checking.
And Matt as Rocky Arroyo.
Well, it can't possibly be as bad as the last year's Christmas party. That took a while to clean up.
It was all that free booze, you know. Someone spiked the punch.
Brown ale.
Well, welcome, players. How's your day going so far?
Wet.
Crazy.
Is it really raining out that way?
It was, yeah.
Or you just been engaging
been...
in tentacle porn?
Yes. Lots and lots of
tentacle porn.
Tentacle porn.
Nice. Well, I just tapped my Judas Priest themed painkiller IPA. So I'm testing out the very first pint of it. It's pretty good.
Nice.
And I did something a little bit different for all you beer homebrew aficionados out there.
You filled growlers and you're going to bring them?
I may actually do that too. A growler maybe. But this is the first time that I'm actually dry hopping in the keg itself.
Ooh.
So
how do you do that?
Sounds sexy.
I have a stainless steel thing that I bought when I was visiting you a couple years ago.
Yeah.
A little tube made of stainless steel fibers. And basically you just drop in the pellets and then sink that to the bottom of the keg.
Cool.
And we'll go. We'll see.
So as it sits, the better it gets. Ooh.
Actually, hops the it's right at the beginning of the process where it's the most intense.
Okay.
And then towards the end, it gets to be a little bit more vegetable, that sort of thing. So, but it's still pretty good. It's very juicy right now. It's
nice.
I use Galaxy hops, Brian. You remember you and I used those in the past, and I really love them. And so far, so good. I think it's going to take about another week for it to actually condition out, but right now it's pretty good. So,
yummy.
All right, well, let's take a moment to read some letters from beyond. What do you say, guys? All right, on Google Plus, insert sound of crickets here.
What?
What's a Google Plus?
Okay.
On Hangouts. Oh, that's coming soon.
On Reddit, Zero Ritfix, or Zero RITFX, has 4 questions for us. Your podcast has begun with awarding mythos knowledge. Since that time, nobody has gained it as far as I can tell. Mm-hmm. And I'm quite certain that a few characters have earned some of it. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I've got it all. Yeah, I've got all of it. So, where do I put that?
Mm-hmm. All the mythos. So, in light of that comment or question, I did do a little bit of research today, and for sure, you guys probably at some point would have increased your Cthulhu mythos. The basic rule is that when you first encounter something that requires you to make a sanity roll, and you fail that sanity roll, and it's mythos related. So it's not just like seeing a dead person, but it's more like seeing a creature that is like a star vampire. Then the very first time that happens, then you would basically take an immediate 5 points. You add 5 to your Cthulhu mythos.
Oh, okay.
And any successive encounters with the mythos-related things, and you fail your sanity checks, then you add 1, and it just slowly creeps up. And over the course of time, that also seeps up and modifies your max sanity. So to this person's comment, yes, that is the case, and we will be more diligent going forward as to when these things take effect. So again, it's the Call of Cthulhu has core rules, but it also allows for a lot of keeper modification or on the fly type thing, and that's kind of what we've done so far. So. All right. Second question: isn't black pudding something that could be perceived as possum guts? Maybe that's what Rachel adoptee eats. And to answer this question, that was actually the initial intent was that she would be always eating black pudding. So that was very perceptive of you to notice that. It was a sort of a strange decision because I thought it'd be gross if they were eating black pudding. But then the person who created this NPC, one of our generous patrons on patreon.com/lovecraftstapes, thought that might be a little too vague. So I modified it slightly and just went with pudding cups, but also gave it the qualities of black pudding. So
Nice.
we'll see if that translates. Third question. Why was everything so lethal at the facility that killed the hacker person? This is Detox. Deadly paper cuts, deadly zombies, deadly paper shredders.
We never did get our
Jeremy
money.
has a murder boner.
Always.
He shows it to everyone.
And so
Hey guys, want to see my murder boner?
it looks like a knife. And it cuts like a knife. So basically, I try to vary the types of scenarios that we run from humorous and basically non-deadly to something that might be incredibly deadly. And I felt the time had come that these investigators needed to encounter something that was going to be very challenging and very deadly. And that's the way that this particular scenario was built by the developer. It's not something I created, but it's something that I modified slightly. And I felt it was just in a tempo rhythm for the whole podcast. I felt it was time that there be something a bit more serious.
Well, and everybody knows the rhythm is going to get you.
That's right. So says Janet Jackson.
That's the Rhythm Nation.
I know. Thank you for
And
getting
she
that
is going
joke.
to get you.
Thank you for getting that joke. And finally, is a crossover of an air freshener and of a butt plug a good West product?
Actually, yes.
I could do something with that.
No. They want a commercial, Matt.
Oh, my bad.
They don't want you to do something with that.
Okay.
Right, Gabe?
That's absolutely.
Oh, yes.
He's just picturing it in his mind.
I know. He's researching on Amazon.
plug,
Butt plug
yeah,
and air
yeah,
freshener.
air freshener. I like it. All right, on Twitter, at Barbarian Rainey says, the newest prologue for TRYST is so good. Excited for this new section of the story. So thank you. That was just a comment, and I appreciate that.
Nice,
Also
very nice.
on Twitter, the results of our March poll are in, and the question was, when eating a bagel, which slice do you tackle first? And we had, did you guys answer this?
I think I did, yeah.
I thought so.
Gabe?
Answer what?
I didn't.
Gabe doesn't eat bagels. So 42% said random, no preference. 42% said bottom, which is the correct answer. And then 17% said top, because the top should always be last.
The middle. I told you.
The whole, yeah.
No. Just the lox and cream cheese. You just lift that off and you're done.
Duh.
I can't have the bread, so you know.
On Facebook, Frank Master says regarding episode 70, want more. That was it.
Pudding.
That was it. On Discord,
too.
at BCP asks, will there be a future adventure using Pulp Cthulhu rules? Possibly a holiday special? What do you guys think about that?
Yes.
I think that'd be interesting to explore a different offshoot of this system, considering we play the straight version of it. It'd be interesting to kind of stray into pulp territory once just for the experience.
Yeah.
The vast majority of that which I've played in the past is Pulp Cthulhu rules. That was a hard thing to say out loud.
Easy for you to say.
Wait, go back on
I'm
Amazon.
glad you
find it.
finally admitted it, Gabe. I know that was difficult.
And
for
you know what? We're here to support you.
If you want a pulp, we're not here to judge.
They're going to support
Right.
you. I'm just going to point at them.
No, that's part of it. Don't do it.
Oh,
I prefer my orange juice with no pulp, but you know.
But plenty of Cthulhu.
And I think that's absolutely a possibility. Just it's a matter of getting those rules and seeing where the differences are, and plugging them in where necessary. So yeah, I would never rule that out. So it sounds like fun. At Inside Out notes, the budding relationship between 1950s Sam and KD was truly heartwarming, and witnessing the engagement between modern-day Sam and Dan dissolve was rough. Aside from the unspoken love between Whiteside and Dan, is there a potential for future showmances?
Roy and Rocky.
Gross.
Keep it in the family.
Well, I mean, we already have one if you look at Rocky and Declan.
Yeah.
That's actually where I was.
Yeah.
I think that's.
And Jack and the tentacle.
It's two.
I think Rocky and Declan is going to be that weird, like, will they, won't they type thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be like a Sam and Diane. It's going to be like a.
You have to have that professionalism
A
while at work.
moonlighting thing. Yeah, exactly
It's
right.
going to be like Flo and Jack.
Flo and Jack. No, I think they went at it
Foreign
right away.
flow or
They
flow
did,
flow?
but they kept this in suspense for like one meeting.
For like a sentence. Yeah.
Or Roy and what's their name that drove the airboat?
His wife?
Oh,
Rosita.
yeah,
Rosita, yeah.
Roy
and
knows that
Rosita.
name quick.
I think they were just pals, honestly.
No.
Just
It was a
palsies.
crush.
Just
Well,
for now.
There was a crush.
It was a high school
yeah.
crush.
But it was like more palsies.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and finally, we need to give a special thanks to our April 2019 Patreon supporters. The Demir Lobotomist, I always get that wrong. The Demir Lobotomist and Ravens in the Attic presumably meet other cultists of the Starry Wisdom in a nearby cemetery at midnight for chocolate pudding and narcoleptic naps.
Yes.
Geordie Rose, as a certified mystic of the occult, attempts to divine the whereabouts of Dan Williams, but keeps getting try again later. Elizabeth Grieve, our lonesome investigator of the unknown, keeps searching random graveyards for those dang cultists, but her flashlight keeps giving out at the most inopportune moments.
Always carry D batteries.
Always, because those are pretty light.
Always.
Brittany Davis, Lobster Johnson, Olda Perkle. Fuck me.
Whoa. I don't think you know them that well.
Yeah.
That wasn't quite what I meant. Brittany Davis, Lobster Johnson, Olda Polkert, Chris Parker, Frank Delventhal, Mitch L., Daniel Hissey, David Winterman, Eric Zane, Wooder Vermeyen, Brownie Davis, John Emray, Anthony Imes, Tadashi Katsuran, and Eric Miles form the teaching staff of professors at Miskatonic, always willing to bend and shape the minds of their students. And speaking of students at Miskatonic, raise your hand if you're here. Eric Setterberg, Eric Phillips, Snow, Dom Driver, Malambra 57, Milk and Mix. Oh, and Rolling Boxcars. I saw you pass that note earlier, so I want to see you in my office after class.
But not about the note.
Bueller.
Thank you.
Bueller.
Horrible
All right.
punishment.
Before we begin, we need to take a quick commercial break. And we're back.
Yeah? What do you think?
Why does everyone keep saying we're not sponsored? We have sponsors every week.
I know.
I don't know, man.
know.
I still think we should have gone with the butt plug air freshener.
That's not what you said a minute ago.
Right.
Before entry.
What's that pine scent?
You know, guys, when I consider which products and or services should be allowed to advertise on our podcast, this one usually lands on the bottom of the barrel. However, they recently bribed me with unlimited beer refills in my 128-ounce Herbert West decapitated head sippy cup, so I had to give them some airtime.
It's true.
Who
Fresh
doesn't love a good
lemons.
sippy cup?
And it was Galaxy IPA in my sippy cup, so it's delicious. Oh, so fucking delicious. Now, dear investigators, we continue. Chapter 8. TRYST.
Hell House. Tryst.
Tri Street.
Previously on the Lovecraft tapes. All hell breaks loose on Tristan da Cunha after Roy Arroyo imbibes too much homebrew and goes on a maniac cop-style shooting spree at the Albatross Bar, mortally wounding Jack Whiteside in the crossfire. Luckily, Declan and Rocky Arroyo are able to subdue the temporarily insane FBI agent, then summon Reverend Brother Lee Summers to provide medical support. Night falls on our investigators. Ow!
My legs!
Who turned out the lights?
Who are no closer to finding Dan Williams than when they first arrived, but who are much, much worse for wear. It is currently
Where?
the dead of night, the witching hour, 3 a.m.
Am what?
M2.
Am not.
Is it
M. Night
3
Shyamalan.
because
Fuck, I was
What?
gonna
3
say
is the
that.
season of the witch?
Yes. Yeah. It's 6 more days till Halloween.
All right. Rocky,
Bullwinkle.
you start awake and bolt upright in an uncomfortable bed in a rented room at the Albatross Bar. Hours later, shit me.
I don't think that's possible, but we could try.
You can try it.
I'm going to shit you hours later. That
Hours
sounds uncomfortable.
Hours ago, with Declan's help, you managed the fallout from your brother's firefight. It took money, fast talk, and veiled threats before the locals would allow the incident to pass without further complication. As one consolation, the barkeep agreed to stop serving his questionable homebrew, at least until your investigation concludes. After that, Declan secured your unconscious brother in his room, and Reverend Summers offered to tend Jack Whiteside's wounds. You barely made it back to bed, collapsing in a fatigued, dreamless sleep. Until now. Suddenly awoken by... what exactly? Your eyes struggled to adjust to the gloom of your quarters.
And go.
Oh, okay. Oh, my bad. I misunderstood you there.
Chair still squeaks. That's good.
Yeah, nice squeaky chair.
That's what I wake up to. It's just
Always
a
fun
squeaky
to
chair.
edit that out.
There's a squeaky chair in the corner, and it's terrifying for the editor, not for me. I don't know what's scary about it. So the first thing I see when I wake up is it looks kind of like just an amorphous blob of shadow, kind of hovering a couple inches off the ground. I'm gonna take a second to kind of, wipe the sleep from my eyes, stare down at it a little harder, and it starts to resolve into a form.
And that form is...
My mentor from...
No. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you wanted me to...
No, sorry. Not leading this into that. It starts to form into the shape of Brother Maury Aubris.
Okay.
And I'm going to need you to make a sanity roll.
Cthulhu Mythos.
I needed a 70 and I rolled a 73. That is a
right.
failure.
So you are going to take 1 point of sanity damage.
Alrighty.
And...
That puts me at 69.
nice.
Quitting the game.
Yeah.
Nice. Done.
What is it? What does that mean?
All right. So let's take a quick look at your investigator logbook. Rocky, there you are.
Rocky.
So I show you at... basically, you've just taken 1 point, right?
Yeah, it's the first point of sanity
nice.
damage
Okay.
I've taken.
Very, very good. So we'll keep an eyeball on that. Basically, what we're attempting to do, and I've added a cheat sheet called Sanity, and that will help you and me keep track of the sanity effects. It is slightly complicated, but essentially it's the same deal where if you lose 5 or more in one roll, something happens. If you lose 20% of your current sanity within 1 day, something else happens. That's
Got
the
it.
bottom line.
Cool.
All right.
Okay.
So
Cool.
yes, Rocky, you see Brother Maury Aubris standing in the corner of your room. And it is this old, spindly man with wiry arms. He is wearing a dirty shirt with a smock, something that you might expect a gravedigger to be wearing. Sort of pantaloons and just dirt all over his outfit. And the one thing you do notice right off the bat is that he appears to be completely intact. Like, he's not missing his brain. That's what I'm trying to say.
Huh. Peculiar.
What would you like to do? He's just staring at you.
I'm gonna kind of swing my legs over the side of the bed, so I'm sitting up in the bed, feet on the ground, and say, "Are you by chance, Brother Maury Obris?"
And he nods.
This is going to sound like an old request, but you wouldn't by chance happen to remember what happened to you in the graveyard several days ago, do you?
So that sounds like it's going to be some sort of roll, probably a persuade,
Okie dokie.
Snakes.
unless you have a better way.
No, persuade works for me.
Jump.
I needed a 60, and I rolled a 63, but we're going to spend 3 points of luck, which brings me down to 69.
He's going to get every number to 69.
And they just quit the podcast.
That's the goal.
Frame that sheet.
And so you ask him this question, and he looks at you curiously, and he says, "Oh, no, what do you mean, Governor?"
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the only reason I'm here is because you were murdered, and then someone stole your brain.
He kind of looks off to one corner of the room as if he's mulling something, and he looks back to you, and he's like, "I think you're full of it."
Oh no, quite the opposite, sir. I'm going to pull up my phone and pull up the pictures I took from the scene at the graveyard, and I'm going to show him the basically the blood trail and where he found his body and how I know it was him that was there.
And he looks over your shoulder at the images, and he's very curious as you're scrolling through them, and he's looking back to you, back to the screen, back to you, and he says, "Anybody could have doctored that. Looks like Photoshop to me. Come on, let's go take a look." And he walks towards the door of your room and through it.
I'm going to quickly throw on some shoes and grab a coat, and I'm going to head out after him because I want to know where he's going.
All right. So you see Maury Aubris drift through the corridor of the Albatross Bar's motel area, I guess you can say. And he leads outside. And it is, again, 3 a.m., so it's the dead of night. You don't encounter anybody in the Albatross Bar, obviously. It's just too late at night. But it does appear to be, it seems much cooler out tonight in the early morning. And you can hear the waves crashing upon the beach at a distance, just a faint drone. And Maury is just striding along the street toward the cemetery.
And while we're walking, I'm just gonna ask him. Do you, by chance, just saying, does the name Ward Wood mean anything to you?
Oh, yes, Ward Wood. He was one of our founders. What of him?
See, when I found where you were originally attacked, you were. It appears you were maybe performing some sort of maintenance on his grave site. The dirt at his grave had been freshly turned, and there was a shovel. And you being the one who keeps these things up, I just assumed that it was you that was working on it, maybe doing some sort of restorative work.
Yes, exactly right, Governor. I was taking care of the property like I do for everything, and that misbegotten, ungrateful bastard rose up from his grave, and that's all I remember.
You're saying that Ward Wood came out of his grave?
Yeah, it's a bit misty in the old noggin. I'm getting older, you know. But yes.
Have him catch something.
Like a cold? Or...
No, like a pie.
Oh. Is it a regular occasion that people around here rise up out of their graves, or is that just reserved for special people?
I should say not. But that bastard was quite a mean one back in the day.
And what is your procedure for when these types of things happen? I'm assuming
procedure?
that you... When someone comes back up out of their grave, such as you said this Mr. Wood fellow has, what do you do with them?
This is the first I ever saw it.
All right.
Well, stain me knickers.
Luckily, you were wearing your brown pants.
I don't own anything other than brown pants.
Smart man. Brown goes with just about anything. You have a very earth tone complexion. It works well for you. All right.
Okay, bye.
Do you know of anyone on the island that might have some sort of grudge against you, some sort of reason to want you dead? Just
Me?
hypothetically, of course.
No, of course not. I'm just a lonely old man who likes to dig graves. I mean, that's very natural, right? It's quite
You
wholesome.
don't have any family around here, do you?
Oh no,
wife,
my daughter
kids?
moved away a long time ago. Bless her heart.
Oh, all right.
Oh, well, here we are at the cemetery. Imagine that. No, where did you say that that picture was taken?
Right over here, and I'm going to lead him over to where the first picture was taken, which is at the grave of Geordie Rose.
All right, and what you notice is that things appear to be very well, neatly clipped. It must have been someone maybe late in the evening came by last night and clipped things, trimmed it up. So you don't see any indication of blood or anything like that. And you don't even see the piece of stone missing.
Ooh.
You actually see the grave marker is completely intact over Wardwood's grave.
It's interesting, because I'm pretty sure I had Declan take that piece of stone with us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, who is that? Declan, did you say?
Yes, big fellow, doesn't talk a whole lot. He
don't know him.
Assistant. No, he's my assistant. No need to worry about that.
And so
yes.
you said my body was found where exactly?
Right here on the grave of Geordie Rose.
Oh, Geordie, I know him. He's right over here, and he walks over to where Geordie Rose is, and he's like, and this is where I was found?
Yes, Yes, you were found. The back of your head had been caved in,
Oh.
and from what I could gather, someone had somehow broken off a chunk of the tombstone for Ward Wood and used it as some sort of blunt instrument.
Are you daft, man?
Worst superhero ever.
Uh,
Deft man.
No, I've investigated things like this for quite some time.
oh, shut your trap. Do you hear that? Give me a listen roll.
What?
Where's the button?
There's
There's the button.
button to release the lemony scent.
I needed a 25, and I roll a 31.
You gonna let that
So that's
stand?
Yeah,
Okay.
He's got to keep that 69.
You-
69.
Rocky cocks his head and listens, and all you can hear is the waves, the nearby waves along the cliffside, just smashing against the island itself. And then you hear Maury say, "Oh my lord, he's returned!"
Who? There's no
And
one
then
here,
you
but
see the back of his head simply explode. And his brain is wrenched from the hollow of his skull. And
CGI on this is terrible. It's totally unbelievable.
I'm going to need you to make a sanity roll, please.
Another one, you say?
Yes.
All right.
Shock upon shock.
I needed a 69, and I rolled a 67. Therefore, I have succeeded.
Lovely. So you don't take any more sanity damage. However, you do see Moriabris collapse to his knees, and the brain is hovering in midair. You're just a few feet away from this, and you see it slowly disappear as if it were being eaten by some invisible creature that you can't see. And then you do hear, directly behind you, approaching feet.
I'm going to gun out, kind of at the ready, spin around with my phone flashlight pointing outwards so I can get a better view of who's trying to sneak up behind me.
You can't do that. The sun's not out.
No guns out unless the sun's out. Sorry.
Oh, man. Damn these islanders and their backwards laws.
So Rocky whirls around, gun in hand, to see Reverend Brotherly Summers.
Oh, Judas.
No, Lee Summers.
Oh,
Lee
sorry.
Summers. Yeah, not guy.
His name is not Judas.
Literally.
No.
And the weird thing is that the Reverend looks like some sort of black and white flickering, almost like a newsreel version of himself. And next to him is some sort of hulking frog-like monstrosity that is slightly larger than man-sized. And they are approaching toward you fast.
Are they flickering as well?
That's why I said
Or
they are flickering.
They are all.
Okay, so
they're
both
all.
of them. Okay.
Yes.
Got it. Got it. Sorry.
I'm just going to kind of silently take a couple of steps to the side and see what they do.
So
And
they
make sure I keep my gun trained on them, though, just in case.
got it. They approach Moriabris, and his body slumps to the ground. And Reverend Brotherly Summers kneels down and pulls something from a robe pocket. Why don't you go ahead and give me a spot hidden?
Do it.
I needed a 60. I rolled a 29. That is a hard success.
He has a frog in his hand. And he
Good thing that
kneels.
you mixed up the brothers.
He kneels over the body of Moriabris for a moment.
So we know how he kneels.
How he kneels. And you see his hand holding the frog go towards Moriabris's mouth. And that's all you can see as he obscures your vision while he kneels over the body. And then after a moment, he stands up, looks southward, and says something, but you can't hear it.
Can I try reading his lips from where I'm at?
You may.
It's a 50-50 shot.
Come on.
I needed a 50. I rolled a 55.
Spend it.
But I really want to know what's going on at this point, so we're going to spend the 5 points and go down to 60.
By 69.
Ooh.
By 69. All right. So you watch his face rapidly trying to figure out what he is saying that you can't hear. And you come up with 2 words that chill your backbone, if you are correct. And those 2 words are Father Dagon.
Well, shit.
And then you wake up in bed. Roy,
Like an echo.
your throat is dry, parched, coated in soot, burning with a fire from inside that won't go out. With a croak, you thrash upon your bed and fall to the floor. Slowly, reality seeps back in. You remember what happened hours before with distinct clarity. The gunfire, the breaking glass, the screams. At the time, it felt as though someone else controlled you, pulling marionette strings while you fought helplessly against an alien compulsion. Now, however, your faculties seem restored. There is a cooling sense of calm and welcome relief. That is, until you realize someone is under your bed, staring at you with great interest.
I'll flip the lamp on.
Whoosh! I flipped the lamp on.
So you crab walk back towards the lamp on your bedside and flip it on at the same moment that a woman crab crawls out from under your bed, hair hanging in her face.
Nice.
And you realize this is Sister Ingrid Pitt. Fully restored, not showing any signs of the burning or drowning. Or burn drowning, or drown.
Jawburn.
Drown
Burns.
I'm going to need you to make a sanity roll, please.
Too late, I'm insane.
I needed a 61. I got a 94. That's a fail.
All right. So you're going to take 1 point of sanity damage. And how are we looking on that front?
I'm at 60 of 68.
All right. I need to make a quick roll here. So give me a second.
Bouts of madness. Now I'm angry and gonna kill everyone again.
Not again.
Not the brown ale again.
Look, we can't use the same thing in 2 episodes, guys. That's lazy writing.
Right. Exactly.
Writing.
Who writes?
Like wronging.
It's still real.
I mean, yeah,
for
we
me.
have to do something with the scripting for this show.
All right. So let's see. Sanity. There we go. Boom, 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 boom. Excuse me. Shouldn't
Aww.
burp on YouTube. That's disgusting.
Hi, YouTube.
How's
It's
it
okay.
feel,
Other
bro?
YouTubers have done much worse.
That's true.
No, they haven't. No YouTuber's ever done anything wrong ever.
Oh, I apologize.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that on YouTube, Matt. Gross.
You can't do that on TV.
I'm seeing a lot of numbers getting thrown out there right now.
Nervous, are you?
Yeah,
Me too.
because I immaculately survived last time. It'd be a shame if it all just went downhill because of Ringu girl over here.
Ringu girl. All right. Got it. Oh, did I actually? Yeah, I kept that open. That's nice. Okay, so yeah, that's what you see. So you are obviously scared out of your wits right now, but that's what you see.
Was I?
And she stands to her full height, which is about 5'4", and parts the hair out of her eyes and looks at you with what appears to be empathy or concern.
I know you. No responses coming. Okay.
Not yet. No.
You're
Need more.
You're dead. What are you doing here? And why are you eating frogs?
All right. So that's gonna be, what kind of role is that gonna be?
Small talk? I don't know.
Is there a small talk?
No.
There's charm, fast talk, intimidate, or persuade. What would you guys
jump.
say that is?
Jump.
Well, I feel like I'm trying to relate to her. Hold on. Let me look at my charm. Yeah, charm seems fine.
Yeah.
Go.
Haha, I needed a 50. I got a 16. That's a hard success.
Nice. So she cocks her head and looks at you, smiling slightly, and says, "Dead? What are you talking about?"
I saw your body at the morgue.
My body?
You threw up a frog and gave me a little fright there.
What do you mean morgue? What's that even mean?
You don't know what a morgue is, really? I gotta define this. So
Sir, I know what a morgue is, but we don't have anything like that here.
whatever.
Are you high?
Like,
Have you been with the reefer?
yeah, I
Don't
do like
fear the reefer.
You know my friend Rosita? Oh. I seen your body around other dead bodies, so I don't know what you call it on this backwards island, but to me, that's a morgue.
So you're a looky-loo. If you've seen my body, what are you, a peeping Tom?
I mean, my name's Roy, but I do peep.
Peeping Roy?
But I do peep.
Well, this is all very fascinating, but I have to get back to work.
Hey, you wanna walk and talk? You wanna tell me about that work? Because I think I might be able to help you.
Are you a scientist?
Yes. The name's Clint Westtree.
Oh, you look more like a Rick to me, but okay. Follow along. And she goes out and disappears through your door. Straight through the door.
So I'll chase her opening doors because I have to.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Those are doors.
Oh, as an aside, do you guys listen and watch DJ Cumberbun on YouTube?
No.
You absolutely should.
All right. Click on YouTube.
He mashes up songs and videos.
Oh, nice.
And it is
I mean,
incredible.
I keep an eye on Bendy Bunch Cumberblanche, but I don't know if that's the same person or not.
Penguins.
Penguins?
So,
Penguins.
Roy, she is clearly heading towards the Thatched House Museum.
Good.
And she's perfectly willing to keep up patter with you, if you want to ask her.
All right. So you work at near the museum or in the museum?
Well,
right?
I use it as a kind of base, yes. But I actually work out in the lava fields.
Yeah. What are you studying out there?
Oh, it's I'm a geologist, so I study rocks mostly. It's very fascinating here with the volcano that once erupted, and so I take samples and I measure to see if there's any rumblings, that sort of thing.
I knew a great, great man that once said that rocks are neat.
Rocks are neat. Yes, I like that a lot. Yes, it's a good sentiment.
Yeah.
We have a
If
lot
I
of black rock here.
Now we don't need to bring race into it, but so what specifically have you been looking into? Like, have you made any discoveries? Anything unusual?
Well,
Anything that I might have seen?
nothing that you would have seen, I'm sure, unless you're very familiar with sort of volcanic porous rocks. But the fields are very fascinating. They have all these different winding, sort of almost as if the flow of the lava were telling a tale.
So you don't think you're dead, do you?
Me, I'm walking around, aren't I?
Do you have any kind of memories of frogs getting jammed into your skull or something like that, lingering around?
Oh, my friend, we haven't seen a frog around here in quite some time. I mean, take a look around. We're surrounded by salt water.
Maybe they're adapting. It's a new world,
It's a whole new world.
That evolution gambit and what have.
Well, I suppose, yes. I have seen some odd creatures here. The odd leaping bird or, snake with wings on it. I don't know, but...
Well, I guess we could keep going. Maybe you can show me some of your research, if that's all right with you.
Oh, sure. We just got to stop here at the Thatch House Museum real quick, if you don't mind.
All right.
All right. And she approaches. You guys have clearly talked and walked all that time. And she goes around to the back of the Thatched House Museum. And she's like, oh, would you give me a hand with this? And she looks like she's trying to pick up something that is made of black rock at the base of the Thatched House Museum. And it looks like some sort of polished obelisk kind of thing. She's like, oh yeah, I found this in the fields the other day, and I'm just trying to see if it has any kind of symbols or sigils that might be translated. It's on the other side here. Give me a hand.
I'll give her a hand.
And as you start to approach her, she straightens up and looks over your shoulder and says, oh, Reverend, what are you doing here? And then you see her body begin to crisp and blacken from some unseen force of fire. And I'm going to need you to make a sanity roll, please.
Holy crap.
Oh, yay, again. Hooray.
Particularly
again.
because of the fire thing.
Hooray.
Yeah. I get it. She got set on fire and Rocky's a dick. Oh, yay. I needed a 60. I got a 92. That's a fail. Super
Lots
fun.
of madness.
And you're going to take one more point of damage, or sanity damage, rather. And so you watch in horror as her body, her eyes just sear shut. It's almost like instantaneous. Her eyelids are just drooping and almost like melted over her eyes. But you can hear her gasping. She's quite clearly still alive. And her entire body is just engulfed in flames and falls at your feet. And then you hear, approaching from the southeast, footsteps.
I'll look southeast.
So you
Well,
look past her body, and for a moment there's nothing except for the black lava fields in the distance, just a few yards away. And then flickering in and out like an old newsreel you see your old buddy, Reverend Brother Lee Summers, grinning. And in one hand is a frog, and at his side is a much larger, loathsome frog, hopping towards you.
It's insane.
Super fun that this whole entire quest is just Let's Play with Roy's Key Connections.
Yeah.
Ding.
Fries are done.
And then you wake up in your bed for realsies.
Before you
Good
go.
thing I
go.
woke up because I was gonna shoot it.
All right. Finally, let's get it on.
Whoa.
Jack.
Let's get it on.
Let's get it on.
Miha.
Jack, you slowly rise from the depths of unconsciousness, an uncomfortable burning sensation in your chest.
When I pee. Oh.
As your eyes open, they are met with the glorious sight of a naked angel hovering overhead, smiling down at you.
Finally, my day has come.
It takes a few moments before you realize it is merely a painting on the ceiling, softly illuminated by a flickering candle at your bedside. You're in the old St. Mary's Church to the south of town. Vaguely, you recall being carried here by some locals, then soothed to sleep by the reassuring tones of Reverend Brother Lee Summers' honeyed voice.
Get water. Does anybody have any water? I look around the room.
There's no response. You're alone in this empty room.
All right, I'm gonna look and see if there's any water on a table or nightstand near me. Anything that I can drink.
There is not.
I'm just sitting in the corner chugging all the available water.
I'm going to pull out the brown ale in my pocket, and
Roll for sanity.
I'm gonna attempt to sit up.
You do so with relative ease.
I check myself, check my chest, and
Relative D.
Feels good.
where I got shot.
Feels good.
What am I wearing?
Your clothes, and you
Okay.
can see that there are bullet holes in them.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up my shirt
Uh-huh.
and look at the wound.
There are no wounds.
All right, I'm gonna dance a jig.
You do so.
Woo! Can I have some water? I'm going to
Kenya.
I'm not going to Kenya to get water. I'm going to make note of anything important in the room.
It appears to be probably some antechamber of the church.
Okay.
Just a small bed, nightstand with a flickering candle nearby. There is a Bible next to your bed.
Okay, I'm gonna clear my throat. Hello, as loud as I can muster.
There's no response.
Okay. Hello, as loud as I can catch up.
And still no response. But you hear
I'll do it as
echo
loud
of
as you
your
can
voice.
mustard.
Hello, I need relish. So I'm gonna walk to the door and open it up.
And standing right in the doorway
Oh Christ! On the
is
stick.
Brother Young John. I'm going to need you to make a sanity roll.
I don't just give him a high five.
Jesus Christ. It's Jesus Christ.
Sorry, guys. Green one or the black one? I always
Green.
forget.
Green.
I needed a 78. I got a 57. That's a suck.
So even though you're shaken to see Brother Young John, you notice that he appears to be completely intact. There's no wounds on his neck. And he's looking at you intently.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of smiling, half smiling.
Mm-hmm. John, is that you?
He nods.
How did you get here? I was investigating your murder.
He shrugs.
Are you here to tell me something? I got a server interruption. It
I did
says.
too, same thing.
Okay.
So roll 20 must be
yep.
an issue.
Nope, I see
It's
it
not
as well.
super important, but we'll find
Okay.
out.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
So that sounds like a roll to me of some sort.
Yep.
What are you
Jump.
trying to do? Are you trying to charm him, fast talk him, intimidate him, or persuade him?
Let's see.
Almost sounded like an intimidate the way you talk.
Yeah. I think intimidate, to be honest with you.
I think he's trying to drive Otto.
He's still failing.
I needed a 60. I rolled a 32 for intimidate.
Okay.
That sucked.
Cool. So, yeah. So he says, "Oh, what are you talking about?"
When we arrived on this island, it was because 3 people were murdered, and you were one of them.
Stupid. Oh, no, I that's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard.
Does he looks solid to me, right?
Yeah,
like he's
he
just
looks
standing there. Okay, just making
healthy.
sure.
Yep.
Just making sure.
Poke him.
Poke.
I'm gonna be like, put my hand out. My name's Jack Whiteside, special agent, the FBI.
Oh, brother Young John, what brings you to these parts other than my so-called murder?
I want to shake his hand.
I want to hold your
And he does, and it feels
hand.
firm. Feels very strong. Yes.
Do we
Rigid
have a
even.
connection, or our eyes met?
Misconnection.
Flicker of the candlelight. Do you know what happened to me? Last thing I remember, I got shot.
Oh, no, I'm not sure. I just closed my eyes for a minute, and I was here. I just figured I'd be sleepwalking again.
Where were you before here?
Oh, back to my boat. Speaking of which, I got to get down there. I got to get ready for early morning fishing.
You mind if I go with you?
Oh, no, come along.
All right, let's go.
And he exits the church. He's like, "Oh, we got quite a trek. It's all the way to the north." So
Yeah, it's strange that you made it this far sleepwalking, isn't it? Wouldn't you think?
oh, my house is just around the way. Actually,
Oh,
I don't live on a boat.
Yeah, but that's the last thing you remembered, though, is being by your boat.
No. I just I remember being at home, and then I was asleep, and then boom, you're there. Strange.
I was there.
You were there, and you were there, Auntie M.
How does he feel about hentai?
So as we're walking with the long walk, I'm going to ask him about his adventures. So have you seen anything strange while out on the waters?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I know there's tails. There's got to be some tails.
Well, you know me. I'm always chasing tails.
What about Sonic and Knuckles?
Too soon.
Too soon. No, I nothing out of the ordinary, really, when you think about it. I mean, there's some very strange creatures at the bottom of the sea. I mean, who's going to tell what's what, you know? It's the things that live down there. It glows in the dark, I hear.
Hey, I have a strange question for you.
That is strange. You're right.
When was the last time you saw a frog on this island?
Well, you know, occasionally we'll get some that wash down from Queen Mary's Peak. That's the only fresh water we have here.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that was up there.
That's why we like the rains, because it fills up the lake, and we get to wash down, and it's very nice.
Nice.
Yeah, we can't live on seawater. What are you, stupid?
Well, yes. What type of fish you fish for?
Oh gosh, anything that's big.
And we're there.
Anything I can. Anything I could sell, actually.
How's your mom?
And we're there. Oh, so
Where's your daddy and what does he do?
This is my boat here.
Oh, yeah, I'm a little bit familiar with it.
What do you mean?
This is where I started my investigation.
Okay, well, so where exactly did you start your investigation?
Well, the harbor master helped steady the boat while I
Waters?
went on.
What was he doing?
Studying the boat.
Steadying the boat.
Yeah.
That old coot?
Yeah, why don't you jump in your boat real quick and check on the back side there and see if you feel anything strange.
On the back? You mean the aft? Oh, I can tell you're a landlubber.
Yeah, I love this land.
So you're not all about the aft hay.
Mm.
You prefer the starboard, or what do you like?
When I was younger, I did use aft body spray, but that was just to get the chicks.
Baby got aft. And he leaps aboard the boat, and so he's like, "So you were around here someplace? Where were you exactly?"
Yeah, near the aft where you just told me. But there's something carved into the back of your boat. Just see what you can tell what that is.
And he leans over, and a tentacle shoots out of the water and wraps around his throat, immediately crushing his windpipe. And I'm going to need you to make a sanity roll, Jack.
Do you see it? Little lower.
Do you
Are
read
you
Sutter
okay?
Kane?
I needed a 78. I rolled a 73. I successed again.
All right. And let me think here. Yep. Okay, got it. So yeah, it's, for a moment you're taken aback, but you're kind of almost in a way prepared for what's about to happen. And you can see that the tentacle has this weird black and white flickering quality to it, almost as if it's not part of this time and space.
Mm-hmm.
It is a tentacle from.
And
the
then
Twilight
you
Zone.
hear footsteps along the pier.
Audible
approaching
footsteps.
fast.
Oh
Yes,
god!
they are.
I hear footprints.
Footprints. You notice I edited that out.
Uh-huh.
Day of the Tentacle.
I take a step back and swivel to meet the sound with my gaze.
And you see the same flickering black and white representation of Reverend Brotherly Summers. Or Brother Reverend Lee Summers, whichever one you want to do. And some creepy... I know that
And then he
name
slipped and fell into the water and game over. You win.
Gabe's like, wah, 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 wah. Speaking of Sonic.
Rings everywhere.
So in the same black and white flickering quality representation, Reverend Brotherly Summers and some strange creature with bulbous eyes and frog-like features, dripping amphibious scales and spiky skin, hopping alongside him, leaps onto the boat next to the body of Brother Young John.
I crouch down and watch as it happens.
And sure enough, almost as if it is written in the stars, you see the good Reverend, reach into his pocket and produce a frog, which he then slips into the mouth of the body of Brother Young John, shoving it with 3 fingers down into his throat.
Impressive.
And then the Reverend leans over the boat with a black rock in his hand and begins carving something in the boat. And then you wake up.
See it?
See it now, bitch.
Kind of idiot serial killer uses calling cards.
I don't think he used cards.
Yeah.
And you wake up in
Carling
bed.
cards?
All right.
And actually, you don't wake up in bed.
Oh, I was going to say.
You wake up in a bed.
Mm-hmm.
And at this
It's
point,
my bed.
I am going to share some handouts. This one will be shared to Roy.
No, don't share things to me.
And please read this and don't just use it to inform your next actions, which we'll get to in a moment. Gabe. Save. And this one will go to Jack. So please just read
Is it
this.
75, Roy?
Yep. And this is 78 Jack. I'm sharing to Brian.
Oh, it says that Rocky sucks and should die.
And Rocky, you
78
do not
was
have
good
one,
for Jack.
unfortunately, because that'll inform the next section here. So give me just 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
All right.
Time's up.
This one, this note that he just gave me said that Matt's off the show because he's dumb.
Since Jeremy can't hear us and he will most definitely not listen to this later, I am not watching Borderlands 3 gameplay right now.
And that wasn't me that dropped my glasses. It was him. For whoever ends up editing this, blame Jeremy, not me. Oh, gross. Oh, I wish I didn't do that.
That's what you get. So welcome to the new and improved Lovecraft tapes without a GM.
It is improved. We get to do what we want.
We won. We solved it.
Yep. Just we instantaneously know what's going on and we save the world.
He's just in the
He's
the
in the
next
thatched
hotel
museum.
room.
We just never went in there.
Yeah,
Oh,
I wanted to, but for some reason I couldn't.
hey guys, I was there the whole time. Sorry I didn't say anything. I was just so invested in these thatched houses I couldn't look away.
I feel like I should read this before he comes back. Oh, he's back. I've been reading this. I've been reading this the whole time.
All right.
I haven't because I don't have anything to read.
That's correct.
And I
You
can't
guys,
read anyway, so
was that enough time for you to?
Almost. They kept talking the entire time.
Yeah, it was just
Bunch of
us, not
jerks.
Brian.
yeah, Brian kept talking and we couldn't get him to shut up.
All right, we'll go ahead and start this while Brian continues. This doesn't exactly involve him, so we'll continue.
Yeah,
on
we don't
slowly.
need you, Brian.
Finally.
He's good. Rocky.
Hizbahadabaha.
Declan is standing over you, looking deep into your eyes, with concern racking his features. Sir, he exclaims, come quickly. Then he rushes out of your room.
All right then. And I'm gonna get up and I guess follow him out of the room quickly.
We need to talk. It's me. It's not you.
Oh,
It's meat, it's not you.
It's definitely you.
So you quickly follow him, and he's much faster than you are. And you can see that he turns the corner back into the main bar area very quickly. And you detect... Well, we'll skip that part. So you follow down the hall, and you can hear low voices. And you exit the hotel motel portion of the Albatross, and you can see that Declan, Jack, and Roy are sitting at the ruined bar in the Albatross, murmuring to one another, drinking coffee and looking worried. They look up as you enter. Declan hands you a steaming mug and says, "We have a situation, sir. Tell him, boys."
Okay,
Well,
so
I'm
here's the
waiting.
deal. This island's pretty spooky.
Quite spooky.
Take it away, Brian.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's
Jack.
going on, but I have a feeling that something major is about to come down. Did you guys see what's happening with the volcano?
Yeah, some dude named Joe thinks he can take it on all by himself.
I'm gonna ask them to step outside and take a look. Come with me. You gotta see this.
All right. What's this about the volcano? And I'm gonna turn and look at it.
And then I push him in.
Splash.
Tell them what they see.
What do you guys see? Is it just
no,
me,
you-
or
you-
can you see the smoke coming out of the top of that?
That does look rather ominous. I mean, it could very well just be someone, having a tire fire party in the Caldera volcano.
So you do
Happened
see it.
before.
You do see it.
Yes?
One other thing, I have a question. Did Roy go crazy yesterday and shoot me?
I'm really
yes.
right here.
Yes,
Why are
he
you
did.
talking about me?
Because I think I'm insane a little bit. Just a little, because I raise my shirt. I have no wounds. And show them
You
both.
have no wombs. Okay.
I'm a boy.
And Jack,
That's why
as
you
you
have
do
no
that,
womb.
Uh-huh.
you realize as you're lifting your shirt that you didn't have wounds in the dream.
So I read
and
that
yet,
wrong?
as you're waiting for Rocky and Roy to react to the fact that you do have wounds, they do not react because there are no wounds.
Okay.
Wait, so does he have or does he not? I'm confused.
There
He
are
has
no
none.
wounds.
There are no
Wait.
wounds.
Okay.
Hey, dude, you don't got any wounds. See, I didn't do anything wrong.
What the hell is going on here?
Well, okay, you're focusing on the wrong thing because you're dumb. You're looking at the volcano. It's normal for volcanoes to be volcanoes. What you should be looking at is, see over there by the ocean? Look over there.
Okay.
I see water and waves and boats.
And I don't know if Jeremy wants to explain it or if he wants to have me explain it stupidly. Okay. Even though they can see it, even though they can see what they're looking at, I'm going to say out loud that see how high the sea level is and how literally everyone in the town is looking at it in a line with their backs to us.
What the hell is happening here?
Oh god, it's us. Hands
They're all
across
wearing
the-
Spoilers.
Sorry.
It's been out long enough.
And that's not all, sir. Communications are down. Phone and internet were cut off completely.
Oh, well, that's just lovely. It's like Budapest all over again.
We need to get off this island.
I have a feeling we
You
won't
mentioned
find
something
any
about
on this island.
teleporting or something. Is that something you can do?
Magic is not something that should be.
I don't want to play
tried.
cards. I want to teleport.
There are people out there who do know how to do those sorts of things.
Where? I don't see them.
Unfortunately, I was never trained in that back at the academy. I was always the more curious type. I preferred to be out in the field than in a classroom looking at a book or meditating or chanting or whatever that is they do over there.
Well, I'm going to give you my opinion. I think we should find this Summers. He's the one doing all of this. Father Summers.
Now that you mention it, something strange. Did any of you by chance have strange dreams tonight?
I did.
Mine wasn't a dream, it was a vision.
It's-
I'm a visionary.
I saw the murder of the boy.
That's pretty Raven. See, for me, it was... For me, brother, father, dude definitely murdered that crispy chick.
It's interesting because I also saw the murder of Maury Obris. And after he had died, the father showed up. And did you happen to see the frog creature
Yes.
thing that he was with?
What
I don't
is
wanna
that?
Talk about it.
I'm not sure, but as he was turning away, I couldn't hear him, but I caught two words from his lips. Father and Dagon.
What does that mean? I have no mythos.
Well, I mean, I have 5.
I have 0. What do I need to make this roll happen, Jeremy?
Do you have any occult? Occult?
Oh, cold.
I do.
Occult. I have 5. So what number do I need, Jeremy? What number do I need?
What number?
I'm
How
not saying
much
shit.
do you
I learned my
want?
lesson.
Specifically, do I need a hard success
You need a 1, Gabe.
What are you trying to do?
to know what Dagon is?
Oh, I'm going to roll it too. Because
Well, but I need Jeremy to tell me
He's
what
not
number
going to.
I'm-
I'm
We
going
learned-
to think back into my mind's eye a bit and see if I can, if that name sounds familiar. I needed a 40. I rolled a 74. That fails.
I'm gonna just do some word associations on the ground and see if I get it.
Fagon.
I needed a 5. I got an 83. It didn't work.
Rocky, anything from you?
Push that roll.
I mean, I don't have much in occult. Same boat. I have 5, unless I could squeeze a roll out of something else due to the fact that I probably have some kind of training from working.
Jump.
Yes, I'm gonna roll jump.
I'd say occult is a good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good,
I have 40
I mean,
in it. Sheesh.
I have 5. I might as well. No, I did worse than Gabe. I got a 94.
so that
Making me the
doesn't-
better sibling.
Exactly. No, that those particular words don't ring a bell. Other than the very utterance of them did cause Rocky great unease.
What the hell is a mother? I've never heard of this.
I'm not sure quite what he meant by that, but I get the
Mother.
feeling that it can't be anything good.
Well, why don't we go ask him? Where's he at?
He's probably down by the shoreline. I mean, everyone else is there.
Down by the sea.
Well, maybe he's back in his
Girl.
church. I mean,
Well, we're
All
not
right.
splitting up.
Oh, I was just about to recommend that we split up.
I'll be right back.
But I want to see what they're looking at down
I
by
do
the
too.
shoreline. I mean,
Well, let's
tell you,
get down-
why don't
let's-
we swing to the church first, and then we can head down to the shoreline?
Yeah,
after?
we're
it's gonna
closer to the
take way
church right now.
longer. All
If
right.
he's not there, then we'll know. We'll rush right down.
And I'll sneak off down to the shoreline.
All right.
All right.
As we're going,
Roll for stealth.
Now I'll go with you because I want
Declan
to
tries to hold Rocky's hand as they're walking. Rocky smacks it away. Not in public.
I'll come.
PDO.
Gross.
I don't need to know that.
All right, so we're going to go to the church.
Gotcha. So yeah, you stroll through.
Double time.
Yep. You're gonna double time it through the
80s
village
power walk.
of Edinburgh, which is oddly and creepily silent for this time of the morning.
I just need to check this house for a flat screen TV.
As
Yeah.
we get to the doorway, I'll stop Jack. And I'll say, Jack,
Mijo.
What?
if you come in here, are you going to burst into flames being that you worship voodoo and stuff?
I don't worship voodoo. I just
am
know what it
voodoo.
is.
Who do the voodoo that you do so well?
And as you passed houses, you could see that there was nobody in any of the houses. There was no sign of life anywhere.
Does it look like people have lived there recently?
Depends. You'd probably need a closer look, wouldn't you?
How close are we to the house? And
You're
how
just
close are
passing
we to
by.
the
You're
church?
in the street. You're passing by
Okay.
houses as you go to the church.
I'm just gonna run
Let's
up
start.
ahead of the group. So sprint up ahead of the group and look in one of the windows of the houses
Give me a
before
spot
the
hidden.
other group
I'm
pass
gonna
by.
Verizon one house in front of him.
I'm going to break into a house and search their lock boxes to see if they've been living in there.
I needed a 77. I rolled a 21. That's a hard success.
So Jack
People are
forges
so
ahead of the
immature.
group slightly and veers off just to the right and peers into a window in one of the houses. And you can see, Jack, quite clearly a kitchen table set for breakfast with a little bit of steam coming off of a coffee cup
Okay, that's what I was hoping for.
and a TV on in the background with static.
Flat screen.
No, tube.
Oh,
Hey,
It's one of those
Jacqueline,
giant rear projection TVs.
And it just appears that as
Okay.
if someone had just recently left.
guys, there's nobody in any of these houses. We got to get to that church quick.
Panty raid.
Whoop whoop whoop.
There's no panties to raid. They're all down at the beach.
They brought all
Pantry
their panties
raid.
with them to the beach.
Yes, duh. Don't you?
I mean, you don't bring your entire panty collection when you go to the beach.
I bring my Pantene collection. I love to wash my hair.
Pantene, so silky. All right, so you arrive at the church.
Yes. Now to answer your question, no, I won't burst into flames.
And then he promptly bursts into flames.
Oh.
And then I freak out.
Hot, 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 hot. And I spit out frogs.
How do you like it?
But like a machine gun.
How-
All right. Bust in.
I'll kick in the door, the
Nice.
front door. That's even though it's probably unlocked. I'll kick in the front
Roll
door.
for kicking.
Nice. Yeah, it was actually unlatched from when Jack left it about 30 minutes ago or 35 minutes ago. And so you kick it and it swings wide open. And you see the vestibule and the church proper completely empty. Looks pretty much the same as when you saw it earlier, Roy.
I'm going to run to the room I was in. Just double check it.
I've come here to chew ass and kick bubblegum.
And I'm all out of bubble gum. Oh.
And I'm all out of juicy fruit.
Clearly,
right, so-
it would be double mint.
So Jack is racing towards a room. What are the rest of you guys doing?
Boot, boot.
I'm go
going.
back because I've been here, so I know where his quarters are.
So you're going to go back
God.
towards where
Yeah.
you think the priest quarters are. Okay.
I'm gonna pull my gun out, kind of, prep forward, flashlight in hand, and I'm gonna start heading towards the door that leads down to the basement.
Basement.
And what is this basement you speak of?
Oh, that's the other church, isn't it?
Yes.
I was thinking- okay,
revise
my
your
bad.
approach.
Thanks a
Pretty
lot.
presumptuous of you.
He starts
My
digging
bad.
the basement.
I'm gonna just kind of hang back in the central church area, keep an eye out while those two are looking for stuff.
Throw rocks at the stained glass.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and say Jack and Roy needed to give me a spot hidden.
Okay.
Rocky does not, since he's just standing by idly.
I needed a 77, and I rolled a 33, which is another hard, rigid success.
I need a 70. I got a 39. That's a regular, like flaccid success.
All right, very nicely. So Roy enters into what is clearly the priest's quarters, and it kind of has a weird, strange odor in here. It's for a moment it almost reminds you of a nursing home.
Ooh.
Just like the smell of a very old man who probably doesn't take a bath every day and sweats in his
ointment.
bed.
It smells like the pens.
Yeah. Or muscles, either way. And
Muscle cream.
the quarters themselves are very Spartan. There's just like a wash basin and a Bible and a bed and a table where that he can read at night with it appears that he's mostly using candles for light. And
He is Spartacus?
Spartacus. And as you're looking around the room, you smell something particularly vile.
Sorry.
When I look, I smell.
One of the quarter, or actually underneath his bed.
Sorry.
It's his undies, bro.
Panty Ray.
No, he brought those to the water.
I'll look under the bed, not the bread.
So under the bed is some bread. No,
Bed
Moldy
Right under the bread
bread.
is some dead.
moldy
I'm
bread.
working off about 2 hours of sleep here, so this
Which
has been
two?
a really good semester or a good episode.
So you fall to one knee, Howie, and take a peek underneath the bed, and you see this, what appears to be some sort of vessel with a cloth over it.
Ooh.
Take it immediately. Don't think.
So you reach under and grab it and pull it, and
Now I got to roll for sanity.
you
And pop it and twist it.
can hear what sounds like the buzzing
Pass
of flies from underneath the cloth.
It's the egg obelisk. That was definitely an egg and not an obelisk. I don't
It's a
care. I'll
butt plug air
continue. I'll
freshener.
pull it out so I could get a closer look.
Gross.
You did pull it out. It's right in front of you, but the cloth
I'll
is on top of
inspect
it.
I'll
cloth is
remove
on
the cloth.
So
and
you lift
inspect
the
it.
cloth, and a couple flies zoom out, and you can see that it is his bedpan with maggots crawling in it from his last
Bowel movement.
bowel movement.
And I will call. Rocky, I'll put the cloth back over it. Rocky,
What?
I need you to look at this real quick. I don't know. You're smarter than me, and I don't know how to decipher this.
I know there's something immediately wrong when he says that I'm smarter than him.
Well, that sounds to me like opposing roles, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. And
Sounds like either fast talk or on Roy's side.
yeah.
And then probably like a
Not a
psychology
fast talk.
from Rocky's side.
All right.
Persuade. Okay. I failed. I did a 50 out of 95.
Yeah, Rocky
I
knows
needed-
you all too well, so.
I needed an 80 and I rolled a 46, so I succeeded in my psychology roll.
Yeah, you immediately know that Roy is up to something. So what do you want to do?
You know what? I'm a little busy out here making sure that you don't get snuck up on. So tell you what, we'll put a pin in that, and as soon as we figure out what's wrong with these islanders, we can come back to it later. All right?
Wow, creative. Okay.
All right. So Roy, what do you do?
I take it back, then I'm smarter. I'll continue to inspect the room.
What do you do with the bowl?
I'll put it back under the bed.
So you slide it back underneath the bed, and you hear this weird metallic clink, as if it rubbed up against something underneath the bed.
Oh, that happens.
And I will look at what it rubbed up against. I'll
Plug air
I'll
freshener.
throw the bedpan into the main area of the church, toward in Rocky's direction, and I'll look at what it hit.
So you lower yourself from your bended knee and start to crawl underneath the bed, much like the spirit you saw in your dream, but in reverse.
I'm not a
And
girl.
you see, very well hidden, a ring that is embedded in the floor, and some hinges that are barely detectable. It's clearly a trapdoor underneath the bed. Let's switch back to Jack.
What?
So you're in your quarters that you clearly recognize, this small little Spartan room, and that's it. No, and
wake
of course
up.
That's our show.
the angel is, of course, leering down at you, and it appears to be that. It appears to be leering, not so much smiling anymore, down at you.
Okay. Interesting. I'm gonna do the thorough check of the room. Look under the bed. Look under, pull the chair out a bit or the table or whatever's in the room, and just look behind everything.
Okay.
Keeping my eye on that the ceiling painting.
Gotcha. Yeah, so you're sort of nervously looking up at the ceiling and trying your best to inspect the rest of the Spartan room, and you notice as you're sort of looking up at the ceiling and then sort of checking the little table and looking up at the ceiling and then checking the bedside and that sort of thing, and the light from the candle is still flickering. It's melted down quite a bit from when you were there earlier, and it's throwing some shadows that perhaps throwing some shade, baby. Throwing some shadows that you hadn't really noticed before, and maybe that's what's actually making the angel look a little bit more strange and twisted.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Than what it was previously. However, that same different cast of shade shows you a misplaced brick in a wall that is exactly where the gaze of the angel seems to be looking.
Cool.
It's a sort of miscolored brick in the wall of this old church.
I'm going to approach the brick and see if it's loose enough to remove.
Indeed, it is.
The entire church collapses.
Yep, that's it. That was the only thing
That was a
holding up.
linchpin.
Good job.
Game over. You lose.
Yeah, so it appears that this brick, the mortar around it is pretty much gone.
Okay.
You can see like just a little bit of a hardened exterior where it was kept to keep up the illusion that it was still mortared in place. But beyond that, it appears that the brick had been recently replaced and maybe not pushed all the way in.
All right, so I'm going to pull it out and pull out the Declaration of Independence.
There it is. National Treasure 3, baby.
Was
a shark or something?
Nowhere.
So you pull the brick out,
Mm-hmm.
and you see a darkened, hollow, blank space behind it.
Oh.
And it appears to be some sort of... What did you like, dude?
You're going to stick your dick in it.
That's kind of what I thought he said.
So I promptly lower my pants.
And you see what appears to be a small diary.
Classic success. Ooh. I'm going to... did I have my phone? Do I have my phone?
Sure.
Yes.
Of course.
Should have
Why
my
not?
phone. So I'm going to shine my phone in there and just look around, the opening, make sure I'm not missing anything at the mouth of the opening of where the brick was.
Gotcha. Why don't you go ahead and give me another spot hidden?
I don't want to get caught up on anything.
Caught up.
Oh, I almost rolled sanity. I'm so used to rolling sanity.
Cool.
I needed a 77. I rolled a 27. That's a very hard
Okay.
set.
Yeah, it appears that the alcove is just like a couple feet deep and probably expressly used for this diary.
Okay.
The diary itself is leather bound and appears to be well worn. And yeah, that's pretty much all you see in there.
I'm going to carefully pull it out without trying to touch any of the sides of the opening.
Can you guys hear my cat?
No.
Good. That's because I have my microphone so close to my mouth you can't hear her. Yeah, she's outside going, wah, 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 wah.
What, my cat?
She's rocking.
It's got a
out
great beat,
with her
but you
cock
can't
out.
dance to it.
So, I'm sorry. So say again, B.
Yeah, I'm going to slowly pull out the book, making sure not to touch any of the edges of the brick where the brick was removed, any of the edges, and just slowly pull it out.
Okay.
Listening carefully as I do to make sure it's not like trapped or anything.
Sure. And yeah, it pulls out very easily.
All right. I'm
No
going to open
worries.
it up.
And it is Summer's personal diary.
I'm going to flip to the last page that was written in.
Okay. And we'll hold off before you do that.
And then I'm going to read it, and it says...
This is
Actually, it
exactly my
reads.
plan. This
It
is how
reads.
it's going to work. This is what you have to do to stop me. Please don't read this.
So we'll switch back to Roy. And Roy, you find this trapdoor hidden beneath Summer's bed.
We switch back to me because Rocky's lazy and doing nothing. I'll pull it.
Hey, I'm making sure someone
enter it.
doesn't try and sneak in and hurt you guys while you're looking at stuff.
Boo.
So
I'll-
yeah, it's a trapdoor
keep an
that
eye on
opens
shit.
up. You need to move the bed, obviously, to open it to its full extent.
I'll use my vast strength to do so.
Okay. The bed is easily moved out of the
Roll
way
for
so that you
strength.
can pull
Vast
the trapdoor
strength.
open. And
Roll
you
for furniture
see
rearrangement.
a spiral staircase descending beneath the church. And what's more to the point, you smell that vile smell that you thought was the bedpan increased twicefold.
Oh, shoot.
Ooh, that smells. And then I'll start. I'll yell, "Hey fellas! I found a basement."
I knew it. I am vindicated. There is a basement. I'm going out on a high note. That's it.
And there's the three bodies. On the
And,
steps, just collapsed.
And he
down.
dies.
All right, I step out of the room. What'd you say? I didn't hear you.
Oh my God. Learn to listen.
What? Now do you see it? Guys, I found something.
Nope, still can't listen.
A basement.
Ace of Base hasn't been together in years.
Watch your levels be a little loud.
Okay, I won't yell.
Yeah, Brian.
Ace of Base hasn't
Brian,
been
Brian.
together in years. All right, so I'm going to quickly go over to where Roy is at
Okay.
and motion for Rocky to come as well and hand over the leather-bound journal to Rocky.
I found a basement.
All right, let's rewind slightly. So, Jack, you had indicated that you were going to look at the very last
I was,
page.
but then you wouldn't let me, so I just given it away.
No, we were just doing something that was happening at the exact same time that what was happening. So let's rewind slightly. We're going to take it back to where Roy shouted out, "Hey guys, there's a basement." So we're not going to assume that Jack actually heard that or it was happening at the same time.
Okay.
So Roy, you say, "Guys, there's something in the basement," whatever. And Rocky, how do you react to that?
What?
What? I'm gonna head towards where Roy is currently at. Like, you found something.
All right.
Yeah, basement.
A base. I didn't think old buildings like these had basements, but if that's not suspicious, I'm not sure what is.
It was under. It was his bed. You had to move his bed and basement.
A person who hides an entrance to a secret basement under the bed is clearly up to no good. We should probably see what he's doing down there.
Step 1, bed. Step 2, basement.
Step 3, profit.
Mind the pan. Watch your step. It's a doozy.
So you hear a commotion out in the hallway, Jack.
Mm-hmm.
You hear Roy yelling something. You're not quite sure what it is because you're so focused on this last page of the diary that you flip to purposely.
Yes.
And
so I shut the door so I can read.
His name was Edward Collins.
Dagon has seen fit to send the fool here on a fool's errand. Love, how ironic. The stranger will ascend to the lake in vain hope of finding his lost love, and thereby open the second portal to make way for the old ones to return. Ah, to think of it. I am blessed to select which of our illustrious citizens will make proper sacrifices. Their souls will ascend with the stranger to begin the ritual. Father Dagon, I await your return. That's what you read.
How did he write it deeper at the end?
It's written in bold and in
good.
And
It's phonetically. It's phonetic.
And it goes down the page at the end.
Hello, mother, little father.
All right, so I quickly head out and go towards where Roy was looking.
So you head out
to
into
show
the
them what I
hallway,
found.
and
Yep.
you see Rocky and Roy standing just outside Lee Summers' quarters, looking in, astonished at a trapdoor in the floor.
Okay. Guys, you see this? Look at this.
Oh my
I hand
God,
it over to
you're
Rocky.
so overbearing.
What is this? Some sort of... I'm assuming this is some sort of journal of...
No, it's a recipe for potato soup.
Oh, excellent. I've been looking for all
Frog
of
leg
these.
soup.
I'm going to just kind of quickly skim over it, since it looks like it might be something that might
Read the
be
last
helpful.
page. It's very short.
All right, then. And I'm going to flip to the back and read the last page.
Okay, and you read the same thing that he
Insert speech here.
Why did he write down the page like that?
I think he died as he was writing it.
Maybe he was referring to the castle of Ah.
All right, well, I think we need to figure out what's down in that basement, but after that, we might want to book it up to the top of the mountain, because he mentioned something about a ritual and
Yes.
the spirits following the stranger up. So if we saw those people, I'm going to go ahead and say that means that someone started that ritual.
That's probably a good assumption. Let's get down there quick. I start to go down.
Okay, give me 2 seconds here. I'm going to go ahead and add a new handout with the... I'm going to just say call this Summer's Diary.
No.
And I'll just go ahead and add it to everybody's thing.
All right.
And...
How I feel about
Save.
Back.
And save.
There you go.
Are you good, Matt, till 4:30, or do you have to go?
I'm good till 4:30 if we want to keep...
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we got recommendables and all that to go to, too. So
Right, that's why I
we
wanted
got
to
basically
make sure.
one little scene here to go, and then we're good.
Okay, cool. We'll have time.
Okay, so that is just for posterity. So if you guys need
Cool.
to refer to that, and so Jack is leading the charge down.
Yep,
the
my
spiral
flashlight on my
staircase.
phone. No, actually, I have my flashlight pulled. I have a flashlight on me.
Awesome. Who goes next?
I'll go because I found it and I
Nice.
wanted to go first, but he ran in front of me.
I didn't hear anybody call
Kick
dibs.
the bedpan down the hole after.
Roy, I think you're supposed to say shotgun, right?
Oh. I've got he kicks the pan down onto my head. You son of a bitch.
No, I do it on top of Roy's head. Make sure he's...
So, Jack, you follow this spiral staircase down. It obviously gets cooler and cooler as you go.
Wow, this place is cool.
It's so cool. And all of
So
you notice
cool, Brewster.
the sort of dampness is increasing. The humidity is rising, even as it is cooling down.
Okay.
And what Roy had first assumed was going to be some sort of basement. As you go further, 10 feet, 15 feet, you see the walls slowly begin to turn into jagged, cavernous, cave-like texture.
Ooh.
And it is pitch black down here. You descend another 10, 15 feet.
And run into Vin Diesel.
And the stench is increasing threefold now.
Oof.
You're feeling a little bit unsettling, stomach's a little bit nauseating.
Roll for nausea.
And for just a moment, Jack, you feel a bit uneasy. Are you going to keep going?
I'm going to pull my shirt up over my face and continue.
Okay.
Am I getting any sense that we're close to the bottom? Like,
So far, not. It's
hear,
almost like the spiral staircase is descending into nothingness. You've gone about 30 feet so far.
Okay. I'll probably go double what we already have. If we don't see anything then we'll go from there.
Got it. So after about another 15 feet,
Okay.
you begin to see what is a slight glow from deep below.
Lava.
Someone dug straight down in
It's-
Minecraft.
It appears to be like the glow is sort of azure, a light white blue.
Microsoft's cloud servers.
Ooh.
We found them.
They're not in the cloud at all. They're underground.
I'm so lied to.
All right. I'm going to shine my light back up. It's a spiral, right? All the way
Yep.
down?
All the way down,
So-
but in the center is basically just a column of rock.
Okay. So so I'll shine it up, and then there's only going to be one person that can see me because the other one will probably be around the corner. I think we're finding the bottom. And I'm going to keep going.
Dibs on the top. So you
I
keep
like my
going,
aft rubbed.
and after about probably not even another 20 feet, so you've probably gone 50 to 60 feet all the way down to the bottom, you see the glow increase, and then you find yourself in a damp, dripping cave.
Okay.
That's probably about 40 feet wide, end to end, side to side. And in the middle is a pool of water from which the glow is emanating in the bottom. And I think that's probably where we should call it.
We found the life spring. We're going to live forever,
Somebody
boys!
played
Woo!
the
Start
Call of
stripping my
Cthulhu
clothes and
game.
jumping in.
That, or we found, a disposal pool for used nuclear fuel, which emits a blue radiation, which is called Cherenkov radiation.
Shut up, science.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Under an old church on an island where nobody's at.
Yeah,
Thanks
nuclear
a
disposal
lot.
site.
You ruined it.
Nice. Well, any other thoughts
Yeah,
or theories
cool,
about
cool,
what's
cool.
going on?
Dan's gonna do something stupid.
It's a summoning pool,
Dan's now the Hulk.
would be my guess.
Sweet.
That's where the thing is going to come from when they have things, and there's some things.
And Brian, what about the volcano? Any theories there?
Oh, we got to get there next, I think.
Yeah.
But
He might be
unless this is a
burning in
teleportation.
effigy.
Stop! I'm talking. That's for Brian, not for Matt. What if this is a teleport up to the lake at the top of the volcano?
What if it's not?
Huh? One way to find out. Declan,
I said it.
jump in, boy.
And Gabe, what do you think about these people at the shoreline?
I think that they're doing something really cool, and they're. I wasn't allowed to go look.
Yes, you were.
Not alone. I'm not going alone. They're probably the deep ones summoning. I know you said that you explicitly told me that it's not the deep ones. I just can't believe you. You're not going to tell me if I guess it right.
True.
All right. And Matt, any overall theories from you?
It's your turn.
I still think that it's Dagon or someone who works for him. Maybe the father's kind of trying to use Dan as a pawn to bring about his scheme to bring the old ones back.
Mm-hmm.
Is what it seems like to me. Like he's preying on that grief and that want and that need to bring her back to use for his own purposes. And I was thinking that if they're doing some kind of ritual, maybe the smoke at the top of the mountain is him burning some sort of effigy, maybe.
So do you think Dan's evil now?
I don't think he's evil. I think he's misguided.
Okay.
He thinks he's doing the wrong thing, but he thinks he's doing the right thing for a good reason. He's not intentionally trying to bring about the end of the world.
I think he's evil now, and Matt's just not being able to handle it.
It's all that booberry.
Makes him
Rotted
evil.
his teeth, and now
It's
he's
the
like
lack of booberry.
he's angry.
Well, we are definitely going to find out when we tune in next time for Chapter 8, Tryst.
We're definitely going to find out next time. We're going to find out about Dan next time.
Definitely.
Promises.
Now, it's time for some recommendos. Please roll D100.
Just let
One.
Matt go first.
D100.
100.
Reroll.
All right.
Boop, boop. I got a 16.
I got 43.
I got a 19.
I got a 6, so it's going to be Matt, Gabe, Brian, then me.
Yay.
Started off Matthew.
Go, Matt.
Okay. Well, this week I have a really cool new game to recommend to people. It's a small indie game called Superland, and it's what it is it's like it's a blend between like Portal and Zelda and Metroid, where the core loop of the game is you explore an area and there are puzzles that you have to solve to advance, but maybe you don't have the tools you need to solve it yet, so you have to go off and find another area to solve something, and it's that combination of moving around and backtracking and trying to relate things to solve puzzles that, at one point you didn't have the equipment to, but now you do, so you can go back and do that. But what I like about it is the aesthetic. The game is styled as if the whole world basically takes place inside this kid's sandbox. So, all the obstacles and stuff are like rulers that are massive because you're really small. Or you can tell, the walls and some of the blocks are made out of, things like bricks and Legos. And so you take on the role of this tiny little, like, almost clay figure. And you live in the side of the sandbox that's ruled by the red people. And on the other side, there are the blue people. And one day, the well in your community runs dry, so you go underneath to see that the blues have sabotaged your water supply. So the game is you trying to cross from one side of the sandbox to the other to talk to the Blue King to see why he's doing that. And it's really fun playing with that micro scale and using, objects that we think of as small as very large pieces to a puzzle.
Micro.
Cool.
It's
And what was that
definitely just
again?
tabs ripoff.
No, it's called Supraland, and it is $20 on Steam.
All right. Cool. We'll check that out. Sounds like a lot of fun. And Gabe.
Look, Jeremy said that we're not allowed to recommendo Endgame, but you can't tell me that I can't recommendo the best movie I've seen in theaters for the last 5 years. So my recommendo is The Man Who Killed Don Quixote. It's Terry. First of all, the story behind me seeing this movie was a hellish nightmare because it's been in production for years. Then it was halted from being being shown in the States, and it kind of just sat dormant for about a year. And then when they released it for one night around here, one night, one showing only. And I went to the theater, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it broke. You can't watch it." So basically, the entire theater just had to get up and run and go to the theater that was closest by, where we all ended up missing like the first 5 minutes.
Oh.
But, it's okay. We were able to piece it together. So basically, the premise is Adam Driver is a sort of director who, in college, made a Don Quixote movie as his film project in Spain. And he's going back as an older, more experienced guy to make a larger scale Don Quixote movie. And while there, he runs into the actor who had played Don Quixote in his original movie, and to come to find out that he believes he has been Don Quixote for all these years. He believes that he was turned into Don Quixote through the filming of that movie. And there's, some fantasy elements, like we get to see what Don Quixote believes he's seeing, things like that. It just goes back and forth, and it's just such a grand scale and absolutely hilarious. It's a great movie, way better than Endgame. It's called The Man Who Killed Don Quixote.
Nice. I cannot wait to see that. I love any kind of Gilliam, so need more of that in our lives for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, how about you?
I saw a movie on Monday. It's called Mine actually is a TV show that I waited till the second season to make sure that it was something that was going to be good. Orville. I was a little on the fence for the first season. Orville is basically like a Star Trek but comedy. Seth MacFarlane, Family Guy, he's in it, and the writer and producer and all that stuff. The first season was pretty good. It was entertaining. They tried too much slapstick, tried to make it too much like a Family Guy setting, and didn't go on as many missions and stuff like that. But in the second season that I'm about halfway through right now, it just definitely feels a lot more like Star Trek. There's some serious moments, and there's actually really good acting in it by the characters. So I'm really getting into it. I hope they keep on that track. They're getting better reviews, and more people are watching because of that, I think. A lot of the potty humor, there's a little bit here and there, just enough, and the timing is better on the second season for the humor as well. I highly recommend watching it. Get through the first season because you need the character development. It's not horrible by any means, but it's they don't carry really story or relationship from episode to episode except for the main characters, but now in the second season you're getting character development and romance and action and really, really good special effects. I'm really surprised on the budget that they must get for this, because the episode that I watched last night, it would have been on par with any movie that's out right now. So check out Orville. I think I watched it on Hulu, but wherever you can get it, check it out.
Cool. Yeah, I've heard good things about this particular season too, and I probably at some point I'll take a peek at it because I'm a big fan of Galaxy Quest. Was it? Galaxy Quest?
Yeah. And, see, in the first season, it seemed like the timing was just a little bit off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they learned from that and did try to keep up with the same.
Good.
And they tweaked it and made it good.
Nice. All right, check that out. And today, my recommendo is going to be a movie as well. 1988. Elvira.
Avengers Endgame.
1988, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Nice.
Never. Wow, that's so unheard of.
I know.
Elvira.
So this was directed by James Signorelli, starring, of course, Cassandra Peterson, the lovely Cassandra Peterson. Jeff Conaway in a sort of throwaway role as a tough guy. And William Morgan Shepherd, a character actor who does a really good turn here as a warlock. And this tells the tale of Elvira, who is a late-night host of bad movies, primarily horror flicks, who is looking to make it big in Vegas after getting fired for fending off the advances of the station owner. And, of course, getting, landed on her butt. The only problem is the casino in Vegas wants her to front some of the money for her show because it's not a sure deal. Well, she doesn't have a lot of money, so serendipity comes along and a great aunt dies. And just so happens she leaves Elvira everything, including the dog, her house, and her recipe book. Of course, the recipe book is not exactly a recipe book as you might think it is. And of course, witchery and warlockery ensue as Elvira discovers through a series of wacky, cheesy, sexual innuendo-laden encounters in the prim and proper New England town that she holds the power to her own future. Lesson to be learned here. And even though as a young lad that I had a thing for Elvira and her, let's say, ample talents, I avoided this movie when it came out because it looked pretty silly. And in 1988, I would have been 21 years old. So a little beyond my age group at the time, or so I thought. I thought it just looked kind of silly. And it is. But it's also very self-aware and really cheesy fun with a bunch of vaudeville quality jokes. And more than a wink and a nod to the audience. So it knows what it's doing, and it's trying to be cheesy and funny and just as bad as some of those bad horror movies that she hosts and makes comments about. It's cute. It's worth a laugh if you can find it. I think I saw it on maybe Amazon. And, of course, you get bonus points if you can spot one of the kids from A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. Dream Warriors!
Oh, my God, that movie.
Yeah, I love that movie. That's the best. All right, well, that's going to be it for this episode of the Lovecraft Tapes. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Music, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, or anywhere you download your regular podcasts. If you like what you hear, please leave us a review. Meanwhile, you can find us at thelovecrafttapes.com with links to all our recommendos and social media channels, including Facebook, Reddit, YouTube, and our Discord server, where we chat all the time, in real time, always.
Backwards
sometimes.
Backwards.
Only if you play it backwards. Freddy is the devil.
Forwards if you're lucky.
You can find me on Twitter at Lovecraft Tapes.
And if anybody wants to excitedly chat about the upcoming Borderlands 3 release, which I'm very excited for, you can find me on Twitter at The Real Weird Kid. And at the time this episode actually goes out for publication, you will also now be able to find me on the PlayStation Network at The Real Weird Kid as well. So for all of you for all of you Lovecraft Tapes fans out there that are on the PlayStation, I'm now over there too. So come and say hi or whatnot.
Gross.
And if you want to, in
Hi.
vain, attempt to convince me that I'm not Don Quixote, you can find me at Lovecraft Gabe.
You're not Don Quixote.
Oh,
False.
You can find me on Twitter at Brian Podcast and also on Instagram at Brian Lovecraft. Not at, but Brian Lovecraft.
That's
Not-
fine, B. That's
Not
fine.
real. But send me pictures. I want
all
to
right.
see.
Send them dick pics.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
Wait.
until next time, roll for windmills.
Ha ha ha! I get it.
That was just for you, buddy.
Don't